Hey, good morning everyone, Dan Zipper here, and today's devlog is on pixel art, as opposed to last time, which was strictly coding. And I did a pixel art one a while ago, but it was on like maps and layers and things like that. And this one's going to be on like the art process. First, I want to have a look at how Zemi's progress, for example. So here, this is Zemi's. Well, this is under the file talking faces, because people have two different face art, one for when they're talking, and then one for when you're examining them in the menu. So here, this is how Zemi started. Well, Zemi really started like this, but plot reasons, we'll see. Here's the new Zemi, so to speak, and I was pretty happy with her. What I would do is go to Google Images, find a reference picture, and then make the pixel art based on that. So in this, pretty happy with. And then my good buddy DIH through Discord made this instead. Let me do preview. Made this. And if you compare, here's mine. Here's DIH. I think, wow, this is so much better than mine. So what I did is, for this one in particular, what I did is see like the dimensions and palette, they're a little off. So I had to shrink it down, and ultimately I ended up with, hey, there's the new Zemi. So we get old Zemi, help from my buddy, and then new Zemi. And here, these are, I mean, pretty much same, right? And also, while we're at it, have a similar story with Pesh. But you know what? I'm actually going to jump over to status faces. So again, talking faces when they're talking. Status faces. This is what you see through the menu. So actually, there we go. Actually, the copy is the old one. So this was my initial what you saw of Zemi in the status menu. So I'm like, you know what? This I was kind of happy with. I mean, this is really more like version 2. If you check older videos, you can probably find a version 1. But I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna look at what's good about this, and I'm gonna try to implement that in the new one. So we get like hair spillage, lighting, which gives a feeling of depth. I don't know, other nice features. So I'm like, I'm gonna take this, which feels kind of shallow, I guess, and try to improve it. So you can see hair here, more depth. Eyes are different, lips are different, hair back here is different, etc., etc. Anyway, long story short, Zemi started basically from references on the internet, like real people, not pixel art. Then my buddy DIH gave me this, and I used that to improve my pixel art skills, I like to think. There's Zemi. Also, Pesh real quick. Pesh. The musk squirrel has gone through a lot of changes. Here is, it's hard to look at. Here's my old Pesh. I think this is actually, this is version 2. If you check my older videos, you can probably find a version 1, but I didn't keep it. It was so bad. So then again, my buddy DIH makes this, and I'm like, wow, it's beautiful. You got like, you can see the nice tufts of fur. Mouth looks much better. Let me slap this up again. So here, hard to look at. And this is great. I love it. But also, I shrank it down. Like same thing with Zemi. and came up with this. So, quote, fix the size and fix the palette. And while I do really like this, looks kind of like a fox to me rather than a squirrel. So I made like a combination of the two. So here's the kind of original-ish Pesh, but with the try to do like some new tail stuff, some new tufts with the cheeks, and so on. So again, ultimately, we went from version 2, derby, and then version 3, much better, kind of foxy, to version 4, potentially final. And that's it for status and talking faces. While we're at it, we can look at, say, let's look at the small monsters. So the way these go, this is how it actually looks, by the way, when I'm doing the pixel art. I have this grid set up, which is, I guess, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like 5 by 10. And then in the game, I have to say which animations to run. For example, you look at the Larvac, it's idle animation, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then it cycles, like 1 through 8, 1 through 8, and so on. But the Goom Shroom, on the other hand, it goes, it bends to the left, then it bends back to the middle, then it bends to the right, then it bends back to the middle. So its idle animation is quite different, But here, start with again, using little bonus points for anyone who recognizes where this is from. I mean, it's quite a mutation, but I think it's still recognizable. So start with this, copy paste, etc., etc. These are up here. You get the monster idols, then the monster attacks, and any additional attacks would go here. But the attacks over here. So like, this dude compresses it and shoots out a bunch of green junk. The attacks are in a different frame, or layer. I mean, different layer. And if I chose to have more attacks, it would be like, attack 1 here, attack 2 here. Well, what I was getting at is these are like built in to the monster sprite sheet, as opposed to, let's open up a new one. Effects on user, sure. And then, as opposed to like players, like battle people, let's do Zemi Young. So here are the sprites for the player. You can see some reference material down here. So we get idle for the player. Over here, casting stuff for the player. Also, I don't know if anyone noticed, Zemi casts with her different hands, depending on if she's doing like damage or healing. The blur stuff and so on. But notice there's no like a attack animation sprites, so to speak. So these are fetched and displayed, and then something like this is drawn on top. So this would be someone, let's open up a third one, effect on user, effect on target. Blah, 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 blah. Where attack small a sprite. So this would be, like Zemi casts res. And then this stuff plays, and this is for her actually, like when she raises her hand, this is what goes around her hand. Boop, 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 boop. And then something like, let's see, where's my res? There's my res. And then this is what goes on the player. And I have res, guy res. Res and guy res similar, but Gyra's is more glowy. Then we also get things like Vulkan animation. Oh, with a nice reference there. And so on. Oh, reference, you know, where exactly it's best to play the animation. And that pretty much wraps it up. So we saw faces and people and so on. But yes, 10 minutes already. Have a good one.